As people of faith, we always need to remember that we are seeking to live out this faith in the midst of a world that is trying to shape us in its image. There's always this pressure on us. Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's overt, and it's a pressure for us to do things and to believe things that are not in keeping with our faith, that just don't match up with Jesus. Like a boss who wants us to do something that's unethical or maybe illegal, or those friends who are always pressuring or tempting us to do something that isn't in keeping with our values or violates our morals, or pressure from our culture or groups of people to leave our faith behind, or certain aspects of our faith that don't seem to match up with the popular wisdom of the day. Basically, there's always this pressure on us to conform to the patterns of this world. And the scripture actually warns us specifically about this. Romans 12:2 says that our goal is not to be conformed to the patterns of this world, but rather to be transformed. Well, what does that look like? What does that mean? A couple of things. The first is that when we give our hearts and our lives to Jesus, God does a transforming work in us. We're made a new person or a new creation, the scripture says. So that transformation begins in a big way. But then our goal is to continue to seek to grow in faith and to live more deeply into that transformation. So our goal isn't to be conformed to the patterns of this world. Actually, Romans 8:26 says our goal is to be conformed to the image of Jesus. So this transformation is about us becoming people who resemble Jesus more and more. People whose words and whose actions and whose lives just exude Jesus in the way that we live and love and treat other people. But in order for this to happen, not only do we need to put our faith in Jesus and receive that transformation that God's going to do in us, so that we can be made new creations. But in order for that to happen, we're also going to need to put some real effort into knowing Jesus, because we can't become like someone that we don't know. So we need to build that relationship with Jesus, spend time with him, be in prayer with him. We're going to need to learn all about Jesus, to know what he would do and what he would say. That's about reading the scripture and really studying it and getting to know about Jesus more deeply. And then we're going to need to take all these things that we learn and put them into practice. And this is really about seeking to live our faith in this world. This is what we need to do if we hope to become more and more like Jesus and to become transformed so that we're like him. Because again, our goal is not to be conformed to the patterns of this world, but to be transformed in the image of Christ.